You didn't come here to be told. You came to remember the spark you keep misplacing. Not a glow for special people. Not belief. A precision of attention that turns scattered light into a lamp. Feel the room you are in. The chair, the screen, the small current in your chest that keeps going, whether you notice it or not. Thomas calls the nearness of reality the kingdom within. Not later, not after a ceremony. Here, when you stop arguing with yourself long enough to hear what is already speaking. The spark is simple. It is what remains when the noise steps back. It does not ask for a costume. It does not demand a story. It asks one thing only. Do you stand in yourself? Or do you outsource that task to the next thought, the next scroll, the next person to approve you? You have felt the split. You answer cleanly, then circle back to soften what needed no polish. You hold a line, then narrate the holding until the line phrase. Power does not leave you in storms. It thins through reasonable exits that charge a fee every minute. The spark closes those exits. Shape before force. Seal before flow. When form is sound, motion stops taxing you. The text speaks like a knife through fog. If the one who leads you says the kingdom is in the sky, the birds will get there first. If they say it is in the sea, the fish will get there first. It is inside you, and it is outside you. And when you know yourself, you will be known. Hear the tone of it. No drama, no bargain, a straight line. There is a sign when words are alive for you. It is small. In a moment, you will notice the room grow a fraction quieter. Not silent, just less crowded. The breath you are already taking lands a little deeper. Vision clears by a degree. If that happens, you are not imagining things. You are stepping over a threshold that was always at your feet. The single eye is not a part of your head. It is a decision to stop splitting your witness. When the two quarrel, light scatters. When the two rest, the lamp brightens. You do not need to force this. You do not need to perform calm. You only admit what is here without adding a second track to explain it. The spark prefers clean rooms. Why this matters now? Because your time is leaking through openings you stop noticing. Because attention is the only currency that buys anything real. Because every promise you keep to yourself needs a container, or it evaporates. The saying offers that container. It is older than your habits and younger than your next breath. You may ask what you gain. Clarity you can feel. A steadier tone in the body. Fewer apologies for being where you are. People read tones before they hear words. When your tone steadies, rooms answer you back with fewer obstacles and more straight doors. This is not magic against the world. It is alignment with it. You do not need to agree with any of this. Take it as fieldwork. While you listen, let one sentence be true without your help. What is within you wants to be brought forth. If you hide it, it works against you. If you bring it forth, it becomes a lamp that also lights your path. You will know the difference by the weight in your chest. Heavy means concealment. Light means movement. The threshold is not in a desert. It is where you sit. The seal is not a ritual. It is the moment you stop adding and start seeing. The spark is not far. It is the quiet center that keeps finding you when you run out of explanations. In a few breaths, we will let the saying speak in its own cadence. I will not ask you to believe anything. I will not give you hurdles. I will only turn your face toward what is already present and ask you to notice whether the noise steps back. If it does, stay. If it does not, You lost nothing by looking. You did not arrive by chance. You arrived because the part of you that is tired of division is ready for a straight hour. Keep your seat. Let the words do their work. When the two become one, you will feel it. The room will answer. The spark will not be a metaphor. It will be the most ordinary thing you have felt today, and the most alive. The text does not flatter you. It points. It says, the nearness you chase is not later. It is here. If someone tells you the kingdom lives in the sky, birds would arrive before you. If someone swears it hides in the sea, fish would claim it first. The line lands like thunder in a small room. It is within you, and it is around you. When you know yourself, the world knows you back. Not a slogan, a change in how things meet you. Thomas speaks in clean cuts. No plot, just doors. Door 1. The inside is not private. When the inside clears, the outside rearranges. The lamp does not move, yet the walls learn it is on. You have seen this. On days your tone is steady, strangers cooperate without knowing why. On days you split, even simple tasks resist. Door 2. The single eye. It is not a secret organ. It is the end of divided witness. When you keep two narrators in your head, light scatters. When you let attention stand in one place, light gathers. Rooms brighten by a degree. Not mystical, noticeable. Door 3. The light within. There is a current inside a human who is lit. It does not pretend. It shows itself by how you move, how you answer, how you stop. If that light does not shine, the same space grows dense and heavy choices repeat. Thomas is exact here. The light is not a mood. It is conduct. Door 4. Bring it forth. What you keep hidden turns on you. What you bring into the open becomes medicine. This is not confession theater. It is physics of the subtle. Pressure builds in closed rooms. Pressure releases where air is allowed. You already know one thing you keep in the dark. The text asks for daylight, not drama. Door 5. The path of the seeker. First comes seeking, then finding, then trouble. The trouble is not failure. It is friction as old habits lose their chair. Then astonishment. Then a quiet kind of rule, not over others, but over posture and pace. The cycle repeats at new depths. Every time the pattern returns, the noise argues that you are back at zero. You are not. The circle is a spiral. The text is lean by design. It refuses to decorate what you must see. It keeps pushing you to the same edge. Stop outsourcing your center. Bring back the witness. Make the two one. When you do, the lamp brightens and the room answers. Listen to how modern this is. Your day splits across tabs, feeds, and half-finished sentences. You keep paying fees to explain yourself twice. You edit your tone to rent acceptance. You spend force where shape would have held the line. Thomas begins at the seal. Form first. Current after. You do less and get more light per action. This is not a private religion. It is shared fieldwork. Within you does not isolate you from others. It restores the part of you that can meet others without bargaining. From there, service stops tasting like depletion. From there, silence stops feeling empty. The sayings protect you from two traps. Trap 1. Chasing experiences to prove progress. The lamp does not chase its beam. It stands and shines. Trap 2. Treating darkness as identity. The moment you remember the witness, darkness turns into unlit space, not a verdict. A brief thread through the 4 sayings. Know yourself, and the room answers. Let light gather in one place, and it will show through conduct. Bring forth what is inside, or it will work against you. Accept the cycle of seeker, trouble, astonishment, and quiet rule. If you want a sign that this is not theory, watch for small corrections. A sentence you are about to over-explain, you let stand. A scroll you are about to extend, you end. A breath lands lower than usual. No trumpets, just fewer leaks. The text does not ask you to withdraw from life. It asks you to stop borrowing yourself from the next moment. When you occupy this one, the two become one for a second. That second is enough to change the gradient of the day. In the next movement, we map this light without turning it into a drill. We keep the voice of Thomas close, but we let your room be the proof. If the words are alive for you, you will not need me to insist. The spark will insist by how it behaves. Maps do not move you. They remove confusion. This one is small. It fits inside a breath. Start where light scatters. Two narrators speak at once. One says do. One says defend. You stand between them like a diplomat who keeps paying fees. Scattered light feels like grainy vision, loud edges, a body that won't settle. Nothing is wrong. Nothing is clear. Now the map. The single eye is not a part of the skull. It is the moment you stop splitting the witness. You let one place in you see, and you allow the rest of you to agree. When that happens, light behaves. It gathers. It thickens. It starts to carry you the way a river carries a boat that finally points the right way. How do you know you found it? Not by fireworks, by small physics. Noise thins by a shade. The room stops pushing back. Your next word lands once instead of twice. You feel one center, not 7 candidates. Thomas speaks in lines, not lectures. If your eye is single, your whole body is full of light. Hear what it refuses to say. It does not say perfect. It does not say holy. It says unsplit. Light wants a container that does not leak. Give it one, and it will act like itself. You can notice the single eye arrive the way dawn arrives, by subtraction. Shadows soften. Corners stop arguing. You are about to add an explanation, then you don't. You are about to apologize for existing, then you don't. You answer once. You stand there. Rooms read that tone faster than they read any sentence. The map has 3 landmarks. First, the seat, not a throne. A simple place inside that does not audition. You have sat there before without naming it. When you sit there, breath lands lower, hands unclench. The future stops asking for rent. From the seat, you do not chase approval. Approval becomes a side effect. Second, the lamp. Light is not an idea here. It is conduct. You become easier to read. Not nicer, truer. People adjust around you because ambiguity drains out of your voice. The lamp does not demand the room. It reveals it. Third, the seal. Shape before force. You close the little exits that spend you. The second message, the third tab, the nervous laugh at the end of a clean sentence. Sealed, even simple acts hold more current. Unsealed, even noble acts bleed. This is the whole map. Seat, lamp, seal. 3 words that let the single eye have a body. You may worry this sounds like trying hard. It is the opposite. The single eye removes extra trying. It lets a movement be one movement instead of a cluster of commentaries. Effort remains, but it stops fighting itself. How close is this to magic? Close enough that you will be tempted to dramatize it. Don't. Magic that needs applause is credit, not capital. The spark prefers plain rooms and direct work. You can carry the map into any scene. A negotiation, a kitchen, a late-night screen you did not plan to open, When you remember the seat, choices quiet down to 2 or 3. When you remember the lamp, your words choose their own length and stop at the right time. When you remember the seal, your day stops leaking through reasonable exits. If nothing changes when you hear this, no problem. Maps are patient. Sometimes they wait until the storm passes, then redraw the coast for you in one gesture. Sometimes they act at once, and the air in the room gets 1 degree clearer while you are still listening. Either way, you did not waste your time. You found where the door will be when you are ready to walk through it. A note on humility. The single eye does not make you special. It makes you available to truth, to service, to the kind of authority that does not need volume. Authority here means the right to act without splitting. You inherit it when you stop renting yourself to every passing impulse. Hold the map lightly. If you cling, it turns into a rule book and the light dims. If you dismiss it, the day reverts to static and fees. Keep it like a small card in a pocket. Seat, lamp, seal. Touch it when you forget. Forget it when you remember. In a moment, we step into the trial that the text sets for anyone who wants more than a glimpse. Not a test from above, a pressure from inside that asks the two to become one in public, not just in private. There you will feel what happens when the spark is not hidden and the room answers back. Every real text sets a trial, not to punish you, to prove weight. Thomas does it without ceremony. He places you in an ordinary room and asks if the two inside you will keep arguing in public or finally sit down together. Picture the scene you already know. Night window, a glow on the desk, your name lighting up on a screen, a sentence forming that you do not quite mean. The body leans forward, the mind leans back. 2 narrators pulling a single mouth. Light scatters. The room tilts by a degree you can feel behind the ribs. This is where ancient language becomes modern pressure. The saying does not shout. It tightens the air. One part of you wants to prove, to explain, to decorate a clean line until it loses strength. Another part wants to stand in the line and let it carry its own weight. Both claim to be you. Only one is the witness. Thomas calls this moment the place where 2 become 1 or continue as 2. Not mystical twins. Your posture and your performance. When posture leads, performance costs less. When performance leads, you spend yourself paying for an image no one asked you to rent. The trial arrives in small ways first. Someone asks a second time for what you already answered. A memory tries to reopen a feeling you already closed. Your hand hovers over the old habit that leaks you by the minute. No thunder. Just that old thin wind across the doorway. If you listen closely, you will hear the spark offer terms. It offers form, not force. It offers 1 tone, not 2. It offers a seal. Speak once, act once, and let the act be the statement. No speech about the speech. No apology for clean conduct. You do not conquer this by tightening. Tightness is just another performance. You recognize the trial, and you allow 1 witness to remain. The single eye takes the chair. The other voices are not killed. They are thanked and released from duty. What happens then is not a trick. It is pressure turning into current. The room that resisted begins to answer. The same door that felt stuck swings because you stopped pushing 3 ways at once. Sometimes the trial is tenderness. You want to share something still forming. You fear it will be judged when it is young. Hiding weakens you. Exhibition weakens you. The saying cuts a third path. Bring it forth without begging for weather. Let it be small and alive. Let it be seen by whoever is meant to see it today. 2. Become one when Creator and Guardian agree on timing. Sometimes the trial is silence. Silence can be punishment when it hides fear. Silence can be authority when it holds a line. You will feel the difference in the chest. Punishment. Silence is tight and cold. Authority silence is warm and exact. One leaks and needs rescue. The other seals and frees energy to do work. You may ask where courage enters. Courage here is not a pose. It is consent to be simple, to say the true sentence once and stand in it without renting extra brightness, to end the scroll before the part of you that needs noise steals your hour, to let the body and the word belong to the same speaker. There will be trouble, as the saying predicts. Not catastrophe. Friction. People who are accustomed to your split will test the new tone. They will ask for the old discounts. More access than you can give. More explanation than the act requires. You will be tempted to pay in light to keep peace. Remember the map. Seat, lamp, seal. From the seat, you feel which ask is true. With the lamp, your no does not wobble. With the seal, you do not add a second message to soften the first. The reward of the trial is quiet authority. Rooms organize around someone who is not divided. Not because of dominance, but because clarity is efficient. The world prefers to spend less energy where it can. When you are one, you cost less to meet. You may fail a dozen times in a single afternoon. That is expected. The spiral does not insult you for repeating a grade. Every time you notice the split and return, the witness grows familiar and faster to find. Every time you pass the trial in a small way, the day brightens by a measurable degree. The body learns the taste of unsplit presence and asks for it again without drama. The ancient words are not interested in your image of progress. They are interested in whether, in this room, at this hour, you leak or you hold. Whether you outsource center or you carry it. Whether the two become one, long enough for light to act like itself. If you wish, let tonight be plain. A simple seal, a clean line, no heroics, no speech about the speech. Stand inside one witness and let the room answer. When it does, do not call it magic. Call it alignment. The spark always knew its work. It was waiting for the two to stop arguing long enough to begin. Every saying wants a place to land. This one asks for daylight. What stays hidden begins to work against you. What you bring forth turns into a lamp that lights more than you intended. Not confession theater, not a brand. Plain emergence. The spark does not need a stage. It needs air. Air looks like a sentence that does not audition. Air looks like a movement that matches its size. Air looks like ending when enough has been said. You know the piece that keeps asking out. It taps behind the ribs when the room goes quiet. You bargain with it. Later, when you are better. When someone says, go. While you bargain, it turns heavy. Not because it is wrong, but because it is stored in the dark and paying rent. Bringing forth is not display. It is alignment. A true thing loses weight when it meets the world that fits it. A false thing gains weight because it needs props. The single eye can tell which is which without debate. One relaxes the chest, the other tightens the throat. Do not wait for a perfect hour. Hours do not improve on their own. They answer tone. You set the tone by standing in one witness and letting the act carry its own light. Small is correct. Small is fast. Small is honest enough to survive contact. You may fear being seen too soon. Seen too soon is noisy. Seen as you are is quiet and exact. Exactness is protection. It gives watchers less to invent and gives you less to defend. Exactness arrives when posture leads performance and the lamp is already on. There is a way the world cooperates with the revealed, not with applause, with openings. A person you did not plan to meet appears at the right time. A door that felt sealed shifts by a finger width. The day spends less energy opposing you because it no longer has to push against your own concealment. You will still feel trouble, as the cycle promises. Trouble tests whether the two remain one outside the room. The old exits will flash like sails, soften the clean line, over-explain the simple act, rent brightness you do not need. Let the offer pass. The currency here is attention held in one place. When you keep it, the act pays for itself. If you must name what you are doing, call it service. Not service as depletion. Service as accurate use of light. A steady tone turns into steadier work, steadier words, steadier rest. People near you begin to regulate by contact instead of demand. This is how a private spark becomes public medicine without spectacle. You will not measure this by likes. You will measure it by friction that used to be constant becoming intermittent, by the hour costing less, by the body ceasing to argue with its own breath, by the sense that rooms are answering instead of resisting. When the two become one, action and witness stop charging each other interest. The same life carries both. You do not need a new identity. You need fewer exits. Sealed, even modest gifts travel far. Unsealed, grand gestures drain you and disappear. What you bring forth today does not need to be the whole story. Let it be the next true inch. Let it be one clean sentence, one unsplit yes, one unsplit no. Let it be quiet enough to survive tomorrow's weather. Let it carry its own weight without your commentary walking behind it. If you forget, return to the map you can hold inside a breath. Seat, lamp, seal. From the seat, you remember you are not for rent. With the lamp, you become readable without effort. With the seal, you stop paying fees for extra explanations. This is where the text leaves you. Not above life, but inside it, with less leak and more light. Not chosen over others, but chosen by clarity. You are not waiting for a kingdom to arrive from the sky or the sea. You are discovering that it answers from where you stand when you stop splitting. In the next hour, the world will offer you chances to hide and chances to reveal. If the room grows a shade quieter when you reveal, you will know you match the hour. If the noise rises, step back without drama and listen again. Either way, you are not back at zero. The spiral moved. The witness learned your face. We will continue this line in the next telling, where the saying about two becoming one is lived for a week, not a moment. Not to prove anything, to let the lamp show what it can do when it is allowed to stay on.